It's time to go back into the basement again with Mike and Tom on Nerding Out. Asterisk fart sound.
Hey Tom, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. We're finally getting to do this live.
Yes, we are.
We got
Yes,
our
we are.
see if we can't get some viewers coming in and watching us. Of course, I don't have an eye on the chat, so if I don't see anyone shouting us out, that's why. But hey, we're Mike and Tom. I'm Tom, and the helpful little name down at the bottom helps us out there. But we're the first, the last, the Nerdom, and this is our show, Nerding Out. We This is our kind of our live show. Our previous two was pre-recorded, but yeah, the goal of this is to be a live show. Maybe we want to get it kind of settled down to a certain day, maybe if schedules allow and time permits. But so these first few have been kind of we wanted to start doing them.
And time permits,
So yeah, but over time we'll get this kind of streamlined and maybe start having guests on and just have hopefully maybe have a rotating a gathering of talking heads. That's our hope anyway, right, Mike?
yeah, no, actually, absolutely. And we've done this live thing a few times, and we have definitely crawled, walk, run. Here, speaking of AI, camera up, there it goes. All right. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, well, it wouldn't be live unless it had some kind of mischief going on. But in any case, yeah, like Tom was saying, we are live, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat here in case anybody joins us. I doubt it, but nevertheless, it's
Hey.
probably a good skill to get used to amongst the many other things that I have to done. And you poor bastard, I put you through your paces tonight, just getting the damn thing ready. But as I get better at it, I get better at it. And here we are. And like Tom was saying, this is our new show. It's our third outing, and I think this is going to be the best one yet. Oh, one because it's live, and two because we got a jam-packed show for you. And a lot of this is going to be stream of consciousness, but with a very light prep. Kind of in line with a live talk show type concept, late night kind of Conan O'Brien
Yeah.
type feeling. We definitely want to bring some comedy. That is a skill set that we are learning as well, very much so. But in any case, uh,
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm the guy for the thumbnails and so yeah, we like to have our thumbnails before we record now so that we can have it kind of spotlighted as we record. So yeah, there's some pre-thought for the thumbnail at least, and I just finished Final Fantasy 16 last night and I was like I want to talk about this. We're not usually a very big into video games on our channel, but
oh, but we definitely play footsie with the concept and
mhm,
idea, for sure.
yeah.
And I think that's on the docket too. This year,
Mhm,
we want to get that rolling where we do,
mhm,
game and gab session, where you
mhm,
you you see us game, probably more than likely Tom, and
mhm,
then gab it up, and I might join him occasionally. But we also might be looking into other interesting avenues to engage the audience here because we are seeing it at 55 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing if you did. We appreciate that very much. And we're going to, oh, that side of the screen there, you see the like and subscribe. We would really love it and appreciate it.
yeah,
Really,
right
yeah.
above there. Yeah.
If you could like and subscribe this,
Mhm,
share it far and wide. We do have a hard goal here to hit 100 plus at the turn of the new year. I think that is absolutely possible. I think it's just a matter of time before we catch the right wave, maybe, or the right trend. And I use that word very lightly for things because sometimes things will overlap and we'll just kind of be in the right place at the right time. Hopefully that'll happen here between now and Dune, at the end of the year. I would like to do a plan a week around that, special things and whatnot to commemorate that. Especially from that would be essentially around our 2 year anniversary,
mhm,
in November,
yeah,
December for sure. I think we started October maybe. But
mhm,
I can't remember exactly when we started. We definitely started in November. I'll have to go back and look
mhm,
at my notes. But in any case,
yeah,
we are driving hard for that. And this is just our way of, having a little bit more free flowing, what do they call that? Free form jazz.
Yeah,
Since
yeah, just tossing ideas back and forth, kind of
just good
roughing them up,
conversation.
kind of wear them out, see kick the tires on ideas, and see where they lead us. And also, I was always a big fan of the David Letterman show, and
Yep,
I kind of wedged in my top 10 list. I want to get it to work. I think we Mike tweaked it a little bit. I think we got a good top 10 list. We
we got a
didn't
winner.
read the whole thing,
Yep,
but yeah, it looks decent. We also do a skit. We're going to try a skit about video gamers that we'll do later tonight at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. And then again, I'll start in on my Final Fantasy 16 discussion right after our top 10 list. So what do you say? You want to jump right into that top 10 list?
absolutely. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull mine up here, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get a good workout here.
Yeah.
And of course, should I put it on the? Well, no, I won't put it on the screen, but we'll work around that way. That'll be the
Mm-hmm.
fourth or fifth episode. We'll get around that, and we
Right.
should be
Yeah.
able to put them up, maybe even one at a time, like they do on the TV Magic Days. And
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying about David Letterman, my favorite was Conan O'Brien. I have
Mm-hmm.
very, very fond memories of junior high, high school, even before middle school, watching him and um, just being absolutely in love
Mm-hmm.
with the comedy there. Definitely my inappropriateness for sure. All right, so we got the top 10 top 10 things that you would notice about video games. But what makes this list special?
Gamers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
gamers.
we obviously writer strike whatnot. We can't have a writer in our thing, so we asked ChatGPT to generate it as if they were Bill Burr in the persona of Bill Burr. So if you see a little bit of his humor in this, that's Chat GPT kind of aping his comedy stylings. What I will do is I guess we'll kind of bounce back and forth. I'll start with number 10, and then Mike will go to 9, I go to 8, and so forth.
Absolutely.
So yeah, number 10 in the style of Bill Burr, top 10 funniest things about video gamers. The eternal quest for Wi-Fi, the never-ending search for the perfect Wi-Fi connection. It's like the holy grail for gamers. Some say it doesn't even exist, but the quest continues.
Indeed, yeah. Number 9, virtual real estate moguls. Owning castles, lands, entire galaxies, and virtual worlds, and here I am struggling to pay rent in the real world. What's up with that? Right.
Yeah. And then number 8, rage dance. Ever seen a gamer lose? It's like watching a dance of anger, frustration, and flailing limbs. It's a beautiful tragedy, really. Where they go, ah! You see all sorts of those compilation videos. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Number 7, the art of multitasking, eating, sleeping, talking to friends, all while gaming. These guys are like the octopuses of the human world. 8 arms? Nah, just one really fast mouse hand.
I don't know. Well, the traditional thing is like from South Park, where it's the guy laid back with his
Right,
hand on the mouth.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know. That one's a little bit weak there. All right. Number 6, relationship status. In a relationship with my gaming console, it's complicated, but it's true love, folks.
that would be very true statement. Number 5, diving right in. Fashion sense. Who needs a wardrobe when you've got gaming merch? I mean, why wear a suit when you can rock a t-shirt with a giant dragon on it? Classy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to have a little bit of crumbs and
Yes.
stains on it as well. Uh,
Yes, you do.
yeah, yeah, that's just little badges. Okay, number 4, the language of gaming. They speak a language only understood by other gamers. GG, WP, AFK, NPC. It's like they're communicating in Morse code or something.
Number 3, time travelers. You ever talk to a gamer about time? They say things like just one more game, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. They're a modern day wizards bending time without even picking up a magic wand. That is true
That's,
in my that's true for my
yep.
teenage son for sure.
Mm-hmm. I I don't do it often, but yeah, that has happened to me. I was playing a role playing a Japanese role playing or RPG, and I was like, okay, well, I'll get to the next section. I'll get to this part where I can save, and like an hour later, there's still cutscenes after cutscenes, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on here? But yeah, that was a bit of a rough bit. Okay, number two, diet of champions. Who needs vegetables when you've got a balanced diet of energy drinks, chips, rage quits? It's the breakfast, lunch, and dinner of champions. I tell you, yeah, that's I don't know. It seems like the especially like with Twitch streamers, it's all about the Mountain Dew and the chicken nuggies. They love the chicken tenders, chicken nuggies.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and I guess I have the honor of number one, so we'll
Hmm.
do it here. The
Play
chair
us
meld.
out, Mike.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. The chair meld. Ever notice how a gamer's chair starts to look like an extension of their body? I mean, they're all twisted up and folded. Seriously, they're practically fused together. You need a crowbar to separate them.
Yes, that's true.
And
Now,
with that
mhm.
horrific car crash, and on that bombshell, we'll keep our day jobs.
Yeah, and yeah, and if you remember with David Letterman, he had the drum roll during the whole thing. Hopefully we could get a soundboard eventually that we could play, but yeah, yeah, I don't know if it's exactly Bill Burr isn't looking for a new job at this point. Let's
I
say.
I think that if either one of us were better impressionist, you might be able to take a crack at it, but maybe not.
Yeah,
But it's
I'm
still
very
fun.
limited on my impressions. I don't
I
do
am,
very many,
yeah, I am too. Yep.
and I could do them in like if we're just sitting in a room and I'll bust something out. But if you put me on the spot, I will I'll flub it up and mess it up. So no impressions right now.
Right on, right on. Yep.
I'm not ready for it to be cotton time. Yeah, I was I was perusing some social media, and someone had posted about the Suspiria remake, and I was like, oh, we covered that in the
Yep.
original. So I dug up the our link to our discussion of that, and I you know threw that in as a response to that post. So but yeah, I was like, okay, that was about a year ago, and so I started digging around and watching some of our older videos, and yeah, they're I like how we present ourselves, but yeah, I can see we've kind of dusted off
Oh.
the rough edges, and we look a lot we look a lot more professional now.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. We definitely have a much more mature in our approach and our process for sure. We
Yeah.
just you can't help but I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine staying with the Zoom thing because of course I'm
Hmm.
you and I both to our own limits are very much on the side of improving things as you go.
Hmm.
Even incrementally, I will not be doing the same thing the same way ever. Because if I can find an easier way, or if I can, well, that's really what it is a good lazy sysadmin is a good
Hmm.
spirit that you should always strive to emulate for an effective
Hmm.
and efficient job. But in any case, nobody came here for career advice, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
but seriously though, that's a good point. And like I say, I just can't believe like how far we've come from the Zoom days. And like I think I even did like some stupid free conferencing thing. And then I zoomed in or I blew up the picture so that your camera was it was all goofy and it barely worked, but we who knows, we kept at it and we're like I said, we're on the doorstep of our 2 year anniversary, and that's amazing to me because like I just
Yeah.
started this thing with you, and you just don't know where it's going to take you, and it's really true. The way the world is going, there are more content creators, even though it's just me. I joke with Thomas on the back end, like when we started, it's like, oh, it's only our moms watching. But no, that's not true at all. You know, like sure we're not big or huge or anything, but you know what? You keep at it and you keep at it and you can grow this thing. But in any case, with a lot of back padding there, breaking our arms here, I was going to transition us over to our. Why is that not? Yep, there we go. You're seeing it live, folks. But in any case, yeah, just wanted to say another thing to plug our show, our channel. We have 144, like Thomas was saying. We are fast approaching 150, 55. Where it seems to be 100, 15055. We got 55 subscribers. Thank you again. And we have 144 videos. It's probably the 145th video as a live one, but I don't know how YouTube counts us. But in any case, we have an ever extensive back catalog. Go check out our last few ones. Very, very proud of the Back to the Future one we released yesterday. Also, our Barbie, our second Nerding Out episode, Fire Knives, and then What We Do in the Shadows. Great, great TV show. If you want to, if you're not sure what to watch, just don't even think about it. Just go put it on. You'll thank Tom. You can thank Thomas later because aping his picks. But in any case, with that, so yeah, so I'll go ahead and pull up a thing here, and you why don't you give us a little bit? Did you want to start off with the Final Fantasy to stay true to
Yeah,
our thumbnail here, and I'll pull up a
yeah,
site here.
yeah. You could actually, if you want to find some gameplay on YouTube somewhere, maybe someone playing
It's a
it,
good idea.
cause yeah, yeah. We won't run into like the thing with Warner Brothers and claim, that it's cool to play video games on Cameron. So yeah, you won't get any DMCA's or strikes or anything, which is good.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna pull up a
Mhm.
cool YouTube gamer who never does that, and he's all about the professionalism what I've recommended before. And
Yeah.
his that is the Rad Brad. So we're just gonna put on a little bit of
All right, I want to take a minute to say what's
playthrough
up.
here.
Welcome back
Oh,
to more
gonna
Mhm.
gonna
16,
because
a
the
game that
sound
I
will
did not
come through
expect to be this
pretty
good.
loud and
As
bleed us
per
through.
Twitter's intro,
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
Bleed our
game
sound.
review, maybe
So
by the next
Oh
part,
yeah.
we'll
Yeah. We
talk
don't
um,
about
want that. But yeah. So yeah. Have you played any of the Final Fantasy games?
I have. If you recall, if you remember, there, and I'm not going to say their names, but I will say this. There was a group of folks that I came into where I met you at our old
Hmm.
workplace. That group of folks, I was tied to them years ago. There was a dude in our group of folks that coworkers that we knew that became friends that were nuts about that. And I think this is like back in God, it would have been back in 2007, 2006.
Hmm.
And that was around that time. I think I can't remember the number, but it was like Final Fantasy 8 or something like that was
Hmm.
coming out. And this dude that I knew that we both knew mutually, not you, but the group,
Hmm.
I think you know who I'm talking about a little bit, but
Hmm.
or the people they're tied to. This dude was just massively into it, and like he got me kind of jazzed about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember.
Hmm.
And I did fall into I think it was Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or not. I don't know, something like that. But it was a long time ago. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just never kind of returned to it. I guess because that's just
Hmm.
not my normal. That's like maybe my fourth or fifth pick, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like if
Hmm.
I'm gonna play a video game, well, one, it depends on how old I was. Two, what I was into at the time, and usually it was like bro shooter, 2K8 or whatever, or it would have been like some boring sci-fi turn-based. I can almost guarantee you I was playing Civilization off and on in SimCity or some kind of sim, not the Sim
Right.
People one, but the Sim City, like that one.
Yeah.
Max, what do they call that? Maxis, whatever the company that makes all that. They make great games. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, I have but I do when I do remember playing it, I have very fond memories, and I remember it being totally sucked into the storyline and the characters
Hmm.
and like very rare like where you get caught into it because you are the character and you get pulled into the storyline. That's like one of the there's a reason here why Final Fantasy is a friggin' franchise, and it's
Hmm.
got so many iterations. The earlier ones were just captivating. Let's put that way. So yeah. So
Mhm.
what's your history with Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I guess the first one I played was Final Fantasy VII back in the 90s. Yeah, actually, yeah, it came out on PlayStation 2, and but I didn't get around to playing it until they came out with a PC port of it, and I played it actually on PC. So that was a bit different. But yeah, I loved that game. I played all the way through. Now I did get I'd pick up like 8 and 9 and I think 10. I think I purchased all of them. I just never
Wow.
finished finished any of them after 7. Except for they did a Final Fantasy 7. They're doing a remake of it, where they're going back in and redoing the graphics and actually redoing the story a little bit too. So it's a little bit different. And I've played through the first part of that and finished it. And so I played Final Fantasy 16, the newest one that we're seeing here. I played it all the way through. So this is my only my second Final Fantasy game that I actually finished. So I guess that says something about the game that I stuck through to the end of it. But yeah, it's one of the things I, I kind of notice with these RPGs is, especially with this one, I'm noticing it's what I look at it as limitations, whereas others may think of it as just the standards of the genre. In that, there's a lot of fast travel, like in this situation, this place that they're at fighting, you can only get into it through the sequence of events that get you there. Whereas I'm used to third person open worlds like Grand Theft Auto and The
Red
Witcher
Dead.
3, Red Dead Redemption, in that you could go anywhere. The map is totally unlocked. You can go anywhere, anytime, and that's, to an extent, it's true. But there's not an open map to where you can a continuous map. You can
Right.
fast travel to certain areas, and you only can climb at certain specific spots, whereas with an open world game you can climb wherever you want. There's just that open, and it makes sense for this game being kind of limited because it's telling a specific story
Right.
that's leading you through. And then there's in the previous games there has been a bit of a more open world nature to it. And what I do like about this game is it's got those side quests like every RPG has. Um, they are a bit repetitive, but the cool thing about them is if you stick with them and do all of them, it does trigger future ones that build upon each other. That builds a complete story. And that you, if you didn't do the side content, you wouldn't have those stories. That the people that you meet during the main quest, they're developed more through the side stories. So that was kind of interesting, getting to know those characters and seeing their story arcs play out, whereas you wouldn't if you didn't do the side quest content. So that was cool. But yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I have mixed feelings about it. I really enjoyed the story, loved the story. In fact, I got towards the end of it, and there was like a big dump of side quests, kind of getting you through that, to get ready for that final section, the big boss battle. And so I was in. The cool thing about the PlayStation 5 is it'll tell you on the main menu the percentage you're at on, as far as the storylines for various games. And from the percentage, it looked like I had at least a few more hours to play. So last night I was like, okay, I'll play part of it tonight and then the rest today. But there was only like an hour left of gameplay, and so I felt somewhat cheated. I was like, I was ready for something more. It does end somewhat satisfyingly, but I don't know. I just wanted more, and
All right. Well,
I was kind of
that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. Wouldn't you say though? I mean, that you wanted more to keep, that you didn't want it to end.
um I I was it was okay that it ended. It just I don't know. I guess I wanted something. I don't know. It just felt like there was something missing. So it kind of ended kind of on a flat note for me. I was like, oh, okay. so oh, so they're doing that. I'm not getting into spoilers, obviously, so I'm not gonna get into spoilers like that. But again, it engaged me enough to play it through, and so I finished it. I still had plenty of time. I had kind of put aside a few hours to play that, and I ended it so soon. I was like, okay, because I'd been wanting to get back to The Witcher 3. I never finished that game, so that game's huge. So
Hmm.
I booted it back up and I started to replay it on PS5, just because they did a nice conversion over to that to kind of spotlight the PS5's enhancements. So it had better graphics, and it kind of took advantage of the controller. So I went back to The Witcher 3, and I immediately fell into it and was really enjoying myself playing The Witcher 3. So I guess maybe I'm more into those types of games as opposed to these, where it's an RPG that kind of branches out the story in kind of a set way.
Hmm.
Maybe I just want that flexibility a little bit more. But again, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you don't need me to tell you whether or not you want to get this or not. You probably already have it. You've probably already played it. But that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't regret playing it. But I guess I just wanted a little bit more. It does have a different tone than the regular Final Fantasies. It
Right.
seems like the people that made it were heavily influenced by Game of Thrones. It does have a much darker tone than the other ones, a little bit more mature tone to it.
Right
So
on.
there's a you know the you don't get to see nudity, but they get real close to it,
Right.
and people die that you don't expect to die, and various things. Again, I won't get into spoilers, but yeah. And if you're really big on having pets in your games, this you get the
Hmm.
main character has a dog named Porgal that hangs out with you through the whole thing. Every once in a while, if you want to pet him, you can. So if you want your virtual pet in in a game, then that's there as well.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, it's funny you say that because, and I want to correct the record here. I do recall playing it when it was. Yeah, I'm not going to claim that I played it when I was a kid growing up in the '90s, because I really don't recall. It would have been late '90s, early 2000s if I would have brushed into one of them. But
Hmm.
to be honest with you, I do not recall the damn storyline. I don't even recall I got the numbers wrong anyway. So around 2006 to 2009, when I would have played it, it would have, or what I was talking about, would have been Final Fantasy 12. Just to correct the record, and I'm sure I did. I know I played it before then. Between
Hmm.
then, because I graduated high school in '99, and I remember running into these friggin' nerds. And one of them,
Hmm.
God, the guy was from the UK, or he was U.S. citizen, but his mom was a UK citizen, and his dad was a soldier or whatever.
Hmm.
And so he was raised in the UK, and then they moved over into the States at some point. And he always played EverQuest. That's what it was. He always played
Hmm.
EverQuest, and I was like, what? And this is dial up, mind you. This is friggin' dial up. So this is dial up
Yeah.
in the middle of rural Missouri, random, at Whiteman Air Force Base, way back in the day when there's nothing. And he was like, "Oh, dude, I save money." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, I just, spent all weekend just playing this game." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then, of course, that same guy also introduced me to my first time I'd ever seen anime. And I still, to this day, I cannot find what anime that was. And at some point, I would love to find it. Maybe one day I will. I don't know. But the problem is my brother-in-law is into anime and he's been forever. And he's like, "Well, can you describe it a little bit?" And pretty much what I described was pretty much useless because it could easily be half of anime.
Did it involve tentacles and women?
No,
Um,
didn't involve and no, 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 no weird shit. No, it wasn't popular. It was more along Studio Ghibli's line
okay.
of like telling a story, kind of like fairy tale-ish kind of thing. Like it was
Hmm.
very much not risque or anything like that. It was like old
Right.
feudal Japan, like with ninja. And it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah. So no, I have a history with this, and there's that, and that kind of leads us to another thing about it, the whole thing, which is, Final Fantasy is a property from Square Enix. That was in Japan, way before it was in America, and then it blew up over here, and
Hmm.
then they smartly rushed to make sure that North American and other international players could enjoy it. I believe.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
and
the whole
it's
history, but I do know a little bit. I know a little
mhm,
bit to extrapolate anyway.
yeah, and also Final Fantasy 14's the online version. That's very popular to this day, sort of like World of Warcraft. It's the cool thing about Final Fantasy 14 is you don't have to just play it on PC. They have you can play it on PS5 and on the Xbox. And
You can play it
actually
on.
PS5 and played it both on PC and on or maybe I haven't played it on PC. I think I've just played it on PlayStation. And they've got the controllers set up pretty good to where it's pretty comfortable playing with the controller as opposed to most of those are best with keyboards.
Right, right.
But yeah, and then I never get like high level in those MMO RPGs. I usually end up getting bored with them pretty quick. Because if you don't have someone to play with, and again,
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
was the fun too because when
mhm,
that same friend, mutual friend, we would all just hang out, and of course this is back in the younger days when I could have I just had limitless time. You just hang out with your buds and his roommate or whatever, and then and
mhm,
and you just played out. You just hung out, maybe had a drink or two, and spent the whole night gaming. That's not unusual.
mhm,
Uh, Not unusual even to this day, really.
mhm. Yeah,
That's the
famously,
fun of
well,
it.
yeah, the most fun I had was the only problem with playing with people like say on World of Warcraft is you really have to it has to become your life to a certain extent to keep up with your other people playing, because if you miss a week or two, you're so far below as far as levels. It would be insane trying to catch back up. But um I I did belong to a guild in World of Warcraft, and there was a wedding in game that I had to attend, and
Hmm.
they scheduled it at the same time I was visiting my older sister in Kansas. So I remember having to bring my laptop to to when I visited them and say, "Hey, on this day, whatever we're doing, I can't do it because I got to attend the wedding." So I did. So I did. And I believe the people actually got married in person as well. But yeah, it was it was a wonderful wedding between the elf and a human, and I think they had the wedding in the elf area, and then had the reception over in the human area of
Okay.
Stormwind. So
Okay.
and as a gift for me attending, and normally you would give gifts to them. The groom gave me a whole set of armor, which I very much appreciated.
That is really cool. Yeah, and I was gonna say, I while you were talking, I looked up some fun facts, and of course, I am not responsible if these are inaccurate or not true, because I
Hmm.
go off of what AI gives us. Excuse
Yeah.
me here while I transition here because I'm tired of sitting. Uh, I am a remote worker, and I do have to I do have to change up to the standing desk once in a while. Anyway, Final Fantasy, the name Final Fantasy was chosen because it was supposed to be the last game made by Square Enix,
Mm-hmm.
who were
Yep.
they were facing bankruptcy at the time, and because the game was a huge success and saved the company from going out of business, that and the name stuck. So fun fact with that. And then I was gonna say, oh, the character of Sid has appeared in every main Final Fantasy game except the first one. He is usually a scientist, engineer, or pilot who helps the protagonist with their airships or other vehicles. That's
Yes,
cool.
and he was very much in this one. Sid's in this one, and in this one he has a daughter named Mid
Oh,
that you get introduced to. But yeah, that's all the spoilers I'll get into. But yeah, as you could see from the just the visuals alone,
it
it's
it
pretty
looks good.
exciting looking.
It
Yeah.
looks no, it really does look good.
Mhm.
No joking, no capping,
Yep.
as the kiddos would say. And I just wanted to share a
Mhm.
couple more cool little facts, little factoids.
Sure.
The apparently, this is apropos to us in general. It says that there was a reference in Final Fantasy 13. There's a reference to the movie Star Wars. When you enter the airship called the Lindblom, you can hear someone say, "Sir, we've lost our rear deflector shield." This is a line spoken by a rebel pilot in Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Cool. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. I don't know.
Probably is. Yeah, the one of the things I was going to bring up, I've been meaning to say it. I've been completing a lot of games. I used to get play a little bit and then just kind of abandon games,
Right.
but yeah, I've been going through and I don't know. I used to would buy I would try to get the newest games. I would play it and then I would get bored. The newer game would come out. I'd get that new game, start playing that, never get back to the old game. So I've been trying to go back and play the games that I liked
Right.
and actually finish them. And I did actually go through a couple of months back and finish Red Dead Redemption 2. And that one was a really fun game. I finished that, and I don't know about you, but achievements in it. I think in on PlayStation they're called trophies. I never got really big into getting those. I'm not real big on completing, getting 100%, as they say on
No.
those.
Uh,
But
I
mhm.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But I do like what I do like is the progression of achievements where when you get to chapter 3 in a game they'll give you achievement. And the cool thing about what I like looking at that is seeing the percentage of people that got it, so that kind of tells you where people start dropping off on a game. And by the time when you complete the game, you get that final achievement of completing the game. See how what percentage of them actually completed the game. And on Red Dead Redemption 2, it said 35%. So only 35% of people have had completed at the time that I finished it, and that's several year old game. So so if you don't always get through and get to the completed game, don't feel bad. There's plenty of people that don't.
Yeah. No. I understand that completely. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, there's the I only become a completist if I really love the game, and only
Mhm,
up to a certain point, like Fallout 4, and Fallout. I played the hell out of Fallout New Vegas, and I played the hell out of Fallout
mhm,
4. And those games, I definitely was a little bit of a completist, but I only did it to the ends that I wanted
mhm.
to, and then I kind of stopped playing.
Yeah.
But before then, Mass Effect, up to the second game,
Mhm,
I I went with the goal in mind, which was like nobody dies, like the crew,
mhm,
and I was able to achieve that both times. And then
mhm,
Mass Effect 3 came out, and it kind of lost its soul a little bit, in my opinion. It
mhm,
just didn't feel the same. It felt very antiseptic and generic, and medical, and it just kind of
mhm.
lost the oomph. But I know that's a big one out there. But yeah, no, it would be cool to go back and play a game. Months back I got the splurge for a PS3, and never ending. You have infected me with the physical media virus, Thomas. And in that vein, it was kind of hard to get a hold of The Last of Us back. Actually, that was last year. But in any case, I digress. Or earlier, very early this year, whenever I got the damn thing. But I have yet to hook it up and go back and play it. But probably this winter, like usually around winter is like when I get bored. And usually I have a long stretch of time, usually in the year, where I won't have my kiddos, and it'll just be me and the dog and the cat. And you know, you got to fill your time up somehow. And you
Oh
know,
yeah.
finding a cool video game. You know, if you're, you know, hang out with friends and stuff, but sometimes you just want downtime. You just want to play something.
Hmm.
And every once in a while, I'll get it. But I am nowhere near as a hardcore gamer as I used to be.
Oh yeah, no.
Younger days. Yeah, neither are you,
Yeah.
from the
No,
sounds of it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but yeah, it's yeah, if you're coming to our channel for a bunch of gaming content, unfortunately we're we're not that. But yeah, we're more movies, comic books kind of focused. But yeah, we do dabble. We're dabblers in the video game genre. But yeah, the ones that I'm looking forward to, maybe to kind of wrap things up on games, is I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 2. It comes out in October, and
Nice.
the same October, Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out, and that's
Okay.
supposed to be back to basics, kind of returning to what everybody liked about, say, Assassin's Creed number two. Kind of maybe getting back to the old style of playing, which I like. All variations of Assassin's Creed. So I think the only one that I didn't enjoy was the one set in France, because it was really buggy, and they had some missteps with that one. But yeah, so that's coming out, and also Alan Wake 2 comes out in
Oh,
October. There seems like everything. There's like a big drought on games that I want to play. And then all of them that I want to play come out all at the same time, within a week or two of each other. So that's what I'm going to be running into in October. But yeah, and
nice, nice.
I used to get to where I wanted to get the games as soon as they come out. I don't have that thing anymore. So yeah, I'll probably pick the one that I want. I'm most looking forward to, I think, Spider-Man 2. So I may get that start out with. I have heard really good things about Baldur's Gate 3. So I don't know if that's really my bag, because it seems like it's really deep set into D&D with the roles and specking out your character.
Sure.
My eyes kind of glaze over if I'm looking at a bunch of stats, and looking at various weapons and which stats has the best, and oh, but this has this percentage of crit, but I want this percent of whatever, blah blah blah. And yeah, that I know some people really get in really good enjoyment out of that. I don't. So if there's like an easy mode on that game, I might be interested. But if you really have to get kind of dive in there to really get into the meat and potatoes of it to enjoy it, then I don't know if I'll I'll be interested in that.
Yeah, I have one, well, two. One that you've been keeping track on is the Expanse release. I can't think of the company's name, but we mentioned in passing months.
Telltale Games.
Yes, of
Yeah,
Minecraft
Telltale.
fame. Yep, and
Uh-huh.
Walking Dead as well.
Uh-huh.
They did their own kind of version of that. Very, very good games, very fun games.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to Starfield coming out and from Bethesda here shortly. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be. I will definitely play it sometime this year, but I don't know that I'm going to be there day one because I just don't
Mm-hmm.
quite have that. Unfortunately, I've been very, very much burnt by the hype machine that is video games.
Mm-hmm.
And every single, pretty much, I've been like any major franchise that you fell in love with or you had affinity for. I've pretty much been stripped of that as I as I've kind of gone through and I go by the game, fire it up and play it, and it's just absolute dog turd. You know, just
Mm-hmm.
crappy, not finished. just not the same thing, or it's either all online or there's no
Yep.
draw there that has that, and it's kind of really burned me out. Probably the only franchise that hasn't burned me like that is Grand Theft Auto. But that is
Mm.
the kind of the joke of the decade is, well, a few jokes of the decade are thus, they are either Kathleen Kennedy's going to be fired any day now. That's just kind of pick at the nerds a little bit, kind of do a little ribbing. Then the other one, the other nerd thing, and true nerds would get this. The year of the Linux desktop is this year. That's a forever joke. And then the other one was this one where you have the game is going to come out. Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out sometime, this next quarter or next season, and it never materializes. But all bad joking aside, I think that wraps up our game segment, video game
Yep.
segment. But we definitely
Yep.
both are fans, and we definitely have some. Sounds like we have some things that we're looking forward to for sure. If this damn thing would cooperate. But in any case, I will go into the first thing, and really, this next part of the swing here is just things that we have covered, either talked about or covered as a main show before. But I thought because of the writer's strike in Hollywood, boy, wouldn't it be cool if if we could find a few lists of things that would be cool to kind of pivot into or talk about, that sort of thing. Definitely some of these things came across my news feed, and I was like, oh man, I bookmarked them, and I was like, that'd be cool to go over. And I think one of the first things we're going to go into here is, um, obviously this is apropos because I always have Dune on the brain. But it was the list of 10 super intense science fiction movies to watch while you prepare for Dune Part 2. And these are supposed to be like really super heavy, brainy kind of type moves. And you can see the first one there. Anyway, and they do get a little Villeneuve navel gazing here. With Blade Runner 2049 at the 10 list. It came out in 2017. We covered that one. I think we covered that one. We did a twofer. We did that one in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Both enjoyed it
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
in our own right. But
Like tears in the rain.
exactly,
But
that's what
no.
it was. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And then Under the Skin, which we pretty recently covered, which is just
Mhm.
really good.
Mhm.
A24. That is what I've learned. A24 is
Mhm.
pretty much going to be a sure bet for you're going to be
Mhm.
freaked out or you're going to be entertained, either one of those,
Mhm.
which we covered
Yep.
in Dune 1984. We covered that as well.
Yep. Mhm.
It was very interesting in its
Mhm.
own right.
A Scanner Darkly, we
Yep.
covered that one as well.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's just like, okay, I got excited. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, we did this one, this one, this one, this one, and then you kind of run out here. But future ideas for sure. I've never heard of
Mhm.
Prime. We didn't cover Primer for sure.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting.
Mhm.
And then A Space Odyssey, which surprisingly we haven't covered
Right. Yeah.
quite yet. But
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like the Back to the Future one, where it's just so
Mhm.
big and massive. It's like, well, what can
Mhm.
we say? But at some point, we'll probably rotate around to that one for sure.
Yeah.
But we have touched upon that era for
Mhm.
sure. We've covered
Yep.
content in the '60s for sure.
We've
60s, '70s.
we've circled around it, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
for sure.
I have a nice 4K edition of it, so there's always I'm always looking for a reason to crack that out and take a look at it again.
Absolutely, for sure.
Mhm.
Blade Runner, which we did cover.
Mhm. Mhm.
Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yeah, that's one I keep meaning to watch. That one, Panos Cosmatos is he's really cool. I've seen a few things of his. Really want to do Nicolas Cage's horror movie he did with Nicolas Cage called Mandy. That one's a nutsoid movie that
All right.
it's like it's a fever dream. That's
Yeah.
all I can say.
Awesome. Upstream Color. Have never heard of this one for
No,
sure.
I hadn't heard of that one either.
That one's definitely going to
Hmm.
go on the list for sure.
Hmm.
And number one, Annihilation, which we have covered. We definitely covered
Yep.
that one. I think we paired that one with another one too, but I can't recall. But
Yeah.
But we try to do value
We paired
tainment.
that one with Ex Machina, which would have
Yeah.
been a cool one to put on this list as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're getting to the point to like where we're going to get up into the 200s and we're going to be like, we can generate some of these articles and stay tuned. We might have that. We might have some publishing content coming out in the not too distant future as a thing. And then another kind of fun one that I kind of pulled up. This one's a little bit more kind of eye roll. I generally don't give a crap what any given celebrity does or doesn't like, but you know what though? Once upon a time, if you like comic books, you were not the cool kid. You were not in the cool crowd like today.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we're kind of retrograding back into that world a little bit. But nevertheless, apparently these celebrities from CBR, which your mileage may vary, um, they are comic book nerds. Some of these did not surprise me. Some of them it would just be interesting. Rosario Dawson, number 15, Megan Fox, Ryan Reynolds. Absolutely can see that. Kate Beckinsale, Jamie
And
Alex.
now, what was the criteria if they've actually held a comic book before? Is that
I didn't go too
what?
deep on it. I just kind of I'm taking it at face value that they like
Mhm,
more than a passing. They understand at least one or more superheroes, and they understand that it comes out in the format of a comic book. So that's kind of how I'm taking this. Is a very very
mhm,
broad thing that they're
mhm.
nerdy enough to name their own thing. I need to get a new camera. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds, that doesn't surprise me. Some of these are like spot on, like you would not doubt it
Mhm.
at all. Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
Adrian Curry, Olivia Munn, yeah, Chris Gore tie in there, or Chris Gore adjacent tie in. Maisie Williams, cool. Carl Urban, that's cool. I love Carl Urban.
Yeah.
And one I don't think we've covered Judge Dredd, that
Mhm.
version. We will have to do that. That's another one too. I
Yeah.
love that movie. That movie is perfect. Riddick is too. He's in a lot of cool stuff. Deborah Ann Wool. I'm not sure. Okay, she was in Daredevil, Defenders, and Punisher. Okay, cool. Netflix versions. Oh, True Blood. Yeah, that's the one. True Blood. True Blood's another one that we probably will. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch True Blood?
Yeah.
You
I
you
have
you,
seen it.
you liked it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those guilty pleasures that was fun to watch.
Cool.
And then yeah, Elvis Presley, to this day he still reads comic books. So yeah.
How could you say that, Thomas? He just died. I'm kidding. Eminem. Okay, sure, whatever.
Mm,
Freddie Prinze Jr. All right, I could see that. Rashida Jones. All right, she was in. Yeah, she's a cutie. I've seen her before. She's really good. Oh yeah, she was in The Office as yeah, she played kind of a foil to Cam or to Pam back in the
mhm,
day anyway for the Office nerds. Um, and then we're kind of cutting through stuff here pretty quick, but this is a little bit
mhm,
more current. So I know you have had your ins and outs with Disney as well as I do. And we are not the kind that we are not shock jocks here, and we like what we like, and we don't like what we don't like. But do you have any? Because you are more of a Dave Filoni fan than I am, or
mhm,
you hold more trust and faith in him. Not that I don't. It's just too far apart for me to not like, not hate, just kind of pay attention and see what happens. Like, it's like they say that he is going to be the primary raider on Ahsoka coming up.
mhm.
Uh, do you have any interest to dip in to see that show at all, or any hope, or what are your thoughts?
Well, that's his baby, Ahsoka's his creation. So, he's gonna really handle that one with care, and that's his love is Ahsoka. So, yeah, I think he'll do his best on that. Whether or not that's something that will engage an audience. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't currently have Disney Plus, nor am I in any way, shape, or form looking to pick it back up, especially with their increase of monthly rate. They're going up quite a bit, I think.
That's what I
So
heard.
yeah, yeah. So it may be something after it's completely out, and there's maybe a show or two more that I want, and if they give me like a a week free or something, I might check it out. But it's not something that's make me rush back to Disney Plus. I don't think that a lot of the stuff that I would watch if I had Disney Plus, I might watch, but it's not anything that would make me want to go, okay, I need to get Disney Plus back to watch this. Like second season of Loki, if I had Disney, I might tune into that, but I'm not gonna pick back Disney Plus again for just to watch that. No.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm gonna step away here for one moment and go check on the cat and the dog here. One second, I'll be right back.
Okay.
And while that, I will leave you at the helm here, and I think the next one is Gen V. I do have something to say about that. Well, I'll be right back, and
Okay.
I'll let Thomas, because you watched The Boys and you watched Invisible and you watched some of those,
Hmm.
so you have a passing familiarity. This is what this is. This is supposed to
Hmm.
be the first offshoot of The Boys
Hmm.
thing. So I would be curious. I will come back and I will be fascinated to hear your opinion on this one. Be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've watched some or read some articles about this. Looks like yeah, it's a spin-off, Gen V. Yeah, the I've also read the comic book that the Boys TV show is based off of, which I really enjoyed. Now, the Boys comic book as well, the show's a little bit out there, a little bit over the top. So but yeah, yeah, it looks like Patrick Schwarzenegger's in it. I guess maybe that's related to Arnold. I don't know. We'll wait for Mike to get back to explain his. I'm kind of curious about seeing Gen 5. I don't know much about it. A lot of times I kind of keep away from spoilers because I like to take things in fresh. I like to experience it without too much foreknowledge of it, so that the story is a surprise to me as opposed to, you know, uh, seeing so much about it that all the good stuff's already been shown. So yeah, I kind of try to go into things blind if I'm sure I'm going to watch it. Now, if I'm not really sure if it's my bag, maybe I'll watch a little bit more to kind of check it out. Um, but yeah, yeah. So hey, Mike,
Yep,
everything cool with the animals?
yep. Sorry,
Yep. Cat.
Kitty cat wanted some attention. Uh, so are you interested at all in seeing this at all?
Yeah, I mean, the Amazon Prime, I have that. So yeah, I have a year's worth. I just kind of got rid of all of my streaming services lately. So I have Prime through the year. So yeah, so I definitely have it available to watch, and that I do enjoy The Boys. So I'll give it a watch. Now, a lot of times with those spin-off shows, they try to get, I don't know, try to change things up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen much. Like I was telling everybody here, I haven't seen anything much of it because I like to be surprised. I don't like to watch too many trailers, just so that I could watch it fresh.
Yeah, I am trepidatious about it. Like I want it to succeed, but at the same time, I am not holding anything that they could potentially mess it up. I hope not, but
Right.
they,
Yeah.
they,
A lot of times they'll take something that's extremely successful, and then someone goes, "Yeah, I can fix this," and then they
no, that
ruin the whole thing.
that's exactly. And I didn't include it in the show notes, but one thing I'll very lightly kind of touch the corner on it and then move on. But um, The Foundation season 2 is already out. I believe it came out this
Mm-hmm.
summer, and I actually liked the season 1. The problem for
Mm-hmm.
me though was the article was saying pretty much like they were going to do what they did with The Witcher, which was bait and switch from the thing, and then they kind of take a very good foundation, pun intended,
Mm-hmm.
and then they expand on it in a direction that I don't care to go. I don't. Once it has that sheen on it, like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
whereas I was more patient with The Witcher. I try to be more patient with these properties. But I just don't have any time for that. And maybe I will see Apple TV
Ain't
and
nobody got time for that.
well, it's just I don't necessarily pay for kind of like Amazon, right? So like you pay for
Mm-hmm.
Amazon for shipping. You don't pay for it necessarily for
Mm-hmm.
the Prime. It's just kind of a
Mm-hmm.
bonus. Apple is the same way. So like if you have a family plan with Apple, you pay them a few shekels more. They throw in a whole bunch of stuff that you may or may not use. And Apple TV is one of those. So like I pretty much always have that on tap. And I fell into a couple shows that are actually pretty good, that we might rotate back into, maybe, maybe not. But just the season 2, I just don't have any. I it's like I've seen this, guys. We played this game way too many times, and I'm not there. And you're teaching the audience and generation upon generation of the audience to tune out, as it were. But anyway, Loki season 2. I know a couple normies that are like really, really excited for this for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it
I think
that.
I think there's a lot of fans of Tom Hiddleston.
Absolutely.
Now I
Yeah.
did now I will recommend comic books. There's a ongoing Loki comic book limited series that's coming that's been going on where his his ship that he made uh from fingernails of the people
Celestials.
yeah of miserable people
Oh, okay.
it gets crashed and pieces of it gets thrown out and he has to go and collect those. The story's really good and I really enjoy the art to it.
Okay.
So if you're in the comic book shop and maybe if you're watching the show and or really want some more Loki, that's good to check out. And they've kind of catered the persona of Loki, the Loki in the movies and the TV shows. He has kind of a fun personality, and that's kind of the personality in the comic book. So yeah, there will sometimes there's kind of a clash between what the characters are like in the movies as opposed to the comic books, but Marvel's kind of made sure that the comic books characters had the kind of reflect the same personality.
Right, right on. Yeah, this is probably one where I really need to go back and watch season 1. I just didn't fall into it. It's probably because I was burnt out on just the whole Marvel thing. Not anything bad, just
Yeah.
and
The one thing that I'm kind of pissed off, or well, just kind of rubs me wrong, is there's a Loki sweet and sour sauce that's
really,
the tie-in to McDonald's.
really,
That the sauce in the show you could try it out at McDonald's, and
right.
that's there's a sense of desperation there. I don't know, but but yeah, it's like I don't know. My joke is that maybe the sauce is more sour than sweet. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And this is kind of like getting into grown territory, like where I could make room for Loki. I don't have any animosity toward it. Like I like what good good quality is good quality, and Loki is through and through has been known to be good quality.
Hmm.
Ironheart, well, one thing, I'm not showing up for this at all. And besides, it's to be, they don't even know if they're going to release it or not.
Hmm.
But maybe you're more forgiving than me, but I just don't have any patience
Well,
for.
I don't know why they're trying to launch shows about characters that no one cares about. No, Ironheart has never been an engaging character in comic books. Has never been successfully there's not been a successful run of the comic book with this character in it. It's constantly been canceled. So the even the comic book nerds are not excited about it. So you're creating a show about a character that has not proven to be an engaging enough character to even sustain a comic book, let alone a TV series. Now, that's not to say that it's impossible, because Guardians of the Galaxy was not a big team, not a big seller for comic
No.
books. But James Gunn was able to um, I'm sure it would help that all at that time every Marvel movie was gold. So everybody was more forgiving. It's like, oh, it's a new Marvel movie, let's go see it. But
Right.
if it was, but it was dog crap, then
Right.
no one would have stayed with it. It just means that the it's stacked against you as far as whether or not you can get an audience. Whereas so Ironheart really has to be really good. The show has to be really good to get an audience, because there's not an audience. And I don't know why they didn't like find another maybe Marvel character who has a proven track record of engaging an audience and creating a show with that, because they've got the whole the whole roster of Marvel characters. Why are you having why are you focusing on this character? Same thing with Miss Marvel. That's a character that no one has ever been excited about.
No, and the sad part is, to be devil's advocate a little bit, is the fact that the whole Marvel universe was put on the back of a tertiary character named Iron Man. Iron Man never had the level of success that a Batman or a Superman did. You could argue he had, he waxed and waned, but he was not ever a major, super major, character that they could push issues off of. So like typically that Disney formula would work, but it's not lately, not lately. And like you said, they've had misfire after misfire. And I did hear that they were doing the Miss Marvel, the teenage girl one, the Pakistani gal one, that that they actually gave it over to ABC, and it already ran this summer. And the actual like numbers, like network TV numbers, are back, and it did just as poorly as it did on streaming. So nobody was watching that unless you were a fan. And if you are a fan, God bless you. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll keep at it, or maybe they'll make it to like where everybody else will take notice. So
Right,
who
and
knows?
we're just making generalizations and
Sure.
our taste and whatnot. So back in the day when I was a teenager in my early 20s, everything I loved on television only lasted one season or half a
Right.
season,
True.
and
True.
it just didn't have an audience back then. And now a lot of that stuff that I love has an audience. So maybe it just takes time for it to grow. So because I was completely in love with Twin Peaks, and I never thought that I would get another season of Twin Peaks,
Right.
but lo and behold, in 2016, David Lynch was able to do a third season of Twin Peaks, and really enjoyed that. So yeah, just know that even though the nerd is king at this point, there's not everything's going to hit, and everybody, the wide range of what nerds like is so far and vast that there's some some things are very niche even now. So yeah, just hang tight, love what you love, and you know don't listen to people that are ragging on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and we are not gatekeepers of anything by any stretch. It's just because we might have disinterest in something doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
We are not like we are absolutely pro fan, as it were. But moving on down the line, we got Orphan Black Echoes. I feel like I've heard.
Never seen the show.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard it, and I feel like it's like a darker kind of Twilight Zone type, Outer Limits, something or other. I don't know that
Yeah.
for sure, but like I definitely this is probably going to be like one like on a rainy or cold weekend. I'll probably let me try it out. So that's cool. That's cool. And obviously it might have previous seasons. This one, Scavenging Rain, never heard of it.
No, no.
This to me, I don't know for sure that this is anime. It's probably not. But regardless, it's animated for sure, and animation takes a lot of time, or can take a lot of time. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you see a lot more animated or anime type, shows.
Yeah.
I know that Disney did a deal with they did a special deal like with a Japanese company, like where they did a sharing content sharing swap thing, like with Hulu. Um,
Hmm.
and a Japanese company locally there that has its own IP did a deal with Disney and Hulu, and that I have no doubt, and that was done this year and earlier in the year, and they have no doubt that they are doing that to diversify their ability to play non-American Hollywood content. If the strike keeps going on, they
Oh
definitely
yeah.
have plans and designs on that in that realm, and you're only going to see more media come in fresh from Korea, South Korea, and Japan, maybe
Hmm.
even China as well, like other parts of the world, even India,
Hmm.
I bet, because we're gonna you're never you can't put that pen back in the grenade. Whether and it's not the strike's fault. It's just the fact that like there's just so much out there, and there's just such a
Hmm.
hunger. And we saw Netflix chew through, making their own original content, but Netflix is probably one of the only smarter streaming services because if something doesn't work, they don't talk about it. They just cancel it. They just move on. They move on down the line, and it doesn't become stuck like this thing like where Disney and Warner Brothers are kind of trying to figure it out. But anyway, moving on.
Although with Netflix, sometimes things just get buried, and
It does.
like going back to the things that I kind of rewatched when I was going through our channel, that movie Spiderhead with
Oh yeah.
Chris Hemsworth. I was like, yeah, and I watched a little bit of us kind of enthusing over that movie. That's a great one if you're watching this. If you want a really cool kind of psychological thriller, throw Spiderhead on
Severe
Netflix.
Severely underrated. I will put that.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to taste. You like what you like,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously
Mm-hmm.
the critics didn't like it, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just fine. I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Skeleton Crew. I don't know anything about this other than I've heard the title thrown around.
Yeah, no,
I,
no interested. No,
yeah,
not interested.
exactly. This is just kind of like, okay, cool. Three body problem. I have issues with this one. To me, I gotta say, I am a huge above everything else. I am a huge sci-fi book nerd. I
Hmm.
always have some Audible going at some point. Wax and wane on that a little bit too, but I have tried numerous times to get into this series. And I'm not gonna hear it. Well, let me try to do it justice here. But this author, I have tried. I really have to get into the book, and I just can't. It's just. I've heard the people that like it, they love it and they really adore it. But I just don't. I just something about it is just. I just can't. To me, it's kind of like if you were to like daydream in algebra class and you were to like kind of come up and come up with a very boring, dry series, this is exactly the breeding ground that you would find in it. But never mind me. The folks who like it, and you know what? Regardless, it's made an impact on the world, and it'll forever be out there. So
Hmm.
maybe it'll be something worth a damn. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, sometimes, most of the time, the book's always better. Is what the
Sure.
refrain is all the time. But that occasionally, a show or a movie based on a book is actually better than the book. So yeah, maybe someone can twist it around and make it interesting. But
Maybe,
you know,
maybe.
there's always that possibility.
Well,
But yeah,
there were critics when Star Wars came out that didn't like that didn't understand the appeal of Star Wars, and like
yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
there's that. There's the idea, and then there's some things that you have to go back to and rewatch and find the love for. Sometimes sometimes the audience just isn't ready for it.
Sure, it was
Going
true for
back to
Dune.
go back to Twin Peaks. That it
Mm,
was such a different and odd show that people are more receptive to it now than back then, and you kind of have to. There's an education to audiences, and I don't mean that in the sense of teaching an audience
no,
lessons or whatnot. But to kind of get them to a perfect example is say Pulp Fiction, where they play with time,
mm,
and a lot of people
that's
did
true.
not like Pulp Fiction because it played with time. But once you understand what's going on, you can start seeing that, and that it becomes commonplace, and that it just becomes part of being able to tell a story. And but you have to initially put it out there and educate the audiences that hey, this is a possibility that you could play around with time in a movie. Where like say with Memento, that
True.
really does play with time.
It does.
Um,
It's a character
but yeah,
in and of itself. Yeah.
and I've gone off on a crazy tangent here, but yeah,
No,
but
no,
that's
no,
what this
no.
show
Please,
that's what
please.
this show is about.
No, that's great. And this kind of this is kind of the point of the show. But I'm not saying anything bad about this particular property.
That's a horrible name for a show. Three body problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, and you know what, the same thing can be said about if there's anything in the quality of a title or the quality of the property from a title. I heard the same thing rendered or leveled at Secret Invasion. So your mileage may vary there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
well, that's a bad title too. But also, to take it back to our podcast that we just did on Back to the Future, I forgot to bring this up when we were talking about it. One of the producers of that movie kept giving out ideas. One of the ideas that really worked, that was good, that he suggested was Doc Brown was called Professor Brown, and he suggested the rename him Doc Brown, and that really kind of livens up and gives that character personality with that name. But he also wanted to rename the movie. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was The Man from Pluto or something like that.
oh, I think I
And
heard that.
yeah,
I heard
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah.
just a horrible name, and he really wanted to change it from Back to the Future. And I think they said that Steven Spielberg kind of shamed him in the notes, saying, "Oh yeah, that's made it out that he was joking." And he go, "Oh, good one. That's sort of a horrible name, you know, blah blah blah." So, to get him to kind of back down from that, but yeah,
No, it's true.
but yeah,
It's true.
there's something for name getting the right name for a product.
Yeah, and really to crunch this down into like a one sentence thing, there's basically like this war that happens across the universe, and humanity kind of is doomed. And then it kind of just it kind of tackles like a it's much about action as reaction as anything else. But we'll see how that just plays on the small screen.
And that's another. I know we're spending a lot of time on this
No,
show
that's
that
okay.
probably no one's going to watch, but
You
but
know, we might be
but the
surprised. We
yeah.
might be forced to cover it in January of 2024.
could be the case. But the best ideas, the best shows, and the things that hit off really good. And this isn't just with shows or movies. It can be applied to music and everything else. The the quicker that you could kind of drill it down into like a one sentence thing that hooks
Mm,
people, because you were kind of describing it, and if you start describing something and you get the listener gets lost in the sauce as you describe it, that's not a good good story.
No, no.
It's not. It may be a good story, but you're not hooking in everybody immediately. Whereas like say take for instance Iron Man, it's a guy
It's
that
true.
makes a suit of iron and fights crime. Oh, okay, cool. Let's hear about that.
Right.
And
Right.
then you can get into all the wacky villains that he's fighting. But yeah, you really have to kind of drill down your story to the point where it's instantly engaging to really capture an audience. And I think that a lot of people forget that they you know you can have a really complex story, but try kind of drilling it down to its essentials to really get it across. And that's a lot of the key into making a title that really draws people in. If you do a really vague, obscure title, yeah, and give a and the story is kind of you really have to get kind of dig in to understand it. People aren't going to give enough time to get themselves hooked into it.
Right. Right. No, that's true. That's true. You gotta let it breathe, like you were saying before.
Hmm.
And like when the sometimes this is not the right decade. This one I have heard nothing but bad things about Halo season one, and I
Yep.
don't see season two being. I don't even. I don't. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they do
Yeah,
not let it
it
go
would
on.
yeah, it's a show that really is only going to be interested to the fans of the game. I'm not
Right.
particularly. I love the first Halo. I've played it through a few times before.
Sure. Me too.
But I kind of get lost in Halo 2 and haven't ever really finished the series. But those people that are really into this to the games, I heard that the first season kind of spits in their face.
Yep. Me too.
It has nothing tied. There's very little tied to the actual game. As far as story wise, they've changed up so much that it really upsets the fans of the show, of the game, and there's not enough of a hook to hook new people. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised that season 2 is actually coming out.
Yeah, I was surprised too to see that. But and who knows with the strike and whatnot, what can and
Mhm.
can't be done on the
Mhm.
margins for the damn thing. But hopefully that you would hope this would be a healthy bleeding session, like where they can just get rid of the crap that just like
Mhm.
just nobody's showing up for. But this one, I had heard about this one, and obviously this is all TBA and likely to change between now and then,
Mhm.
especially with the strike still going on. But Fallout, I have hope for this because I haven't heard anything super negative or critiquey about it. But the thing is that I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's so many different directions they can. The only thing that bothers or that worries me would be the fact that there is no real concrete kind of plan with Fallout because, of course, it's kind of like an Asimov kind of thing. Like it's not
Mhm.
really about the characters. It's not about any one character. It's really about the world and the world building that happens and you
Mhm.
being a part of it at each iteration. Yes, it's somewhat similar, but they do it enough. Up until Fallout 76, they did it unique enough to justify it continuing to exist. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Or in other words, put it that another way, to sell video games, right? Because
Mhm.
obviously something that isn't popular or that sucks isn't gonna it's not gonna sell a lot. So me only
Mhm.
like I said, like my only fear would be that they put some kind of shellac of modern sensibilities on it and like they just make some fucking
Mhm.
outlandish thing that is just not great and who knows. But hope springs eternal, and Amazon Prime in my opinion still has goodwill for me personally. I will still give their properties a shot than not. And then this one was talked about at D23, Agatha Coven of Chaos. I think, yeah, and I don't I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know what the hell that's about, and I don't know why the front door I would watch it. It's kind of we can sled them, and that kind of concludes that one. We spent a little bit of time on that one, but anyway, moving on. One of the this one caught my eye. 12 brilliant sci-fantasy books. That and I recognize the this one because it is a good east and west. I believe it's what it is. But anyway, we'll get down to it. Gideon the Ninth. I've never heard of that. That would be cool. And I was wrong. Saga. It's good. It was good. Dune, also good. That's Gunslinger. I've heard this is a good one. By Stephen King.
It's good up to a point.
Hey, fair enough.
I hate how it ends. Yeah, I would have to get into spoilers to describe my disdain for the last couple of books, or last three. He wrote up to book 4, and then the fourth one was outstanding. But yeah, he had that brush with his his mortality when he got hit by the van, and he wanted to get he decided enough dicking around, he better finish the Dark Towers. And I think he kind of rushed through the last 3 books. And I don't know, there's a key thing that I really disliked about it. I used to argue with one of our co-workers back in the day about my dislike for a certain parts of these books. But yeah, there's I just I liked his idea. I just don't know. The bad thing about Stephen King is I think he writes a book without knowing the end before he finishes it. So notoriously a lot of his books end badly, or seemed a little bit rushed, or don't seem as planned out because they're not. And that's a bad way to do a multi-book fantasy series. And yeah, please comment in the description, or in our comments, if you have a differing take on the Dark Towers. But yeah, it's a series that I love to a certain extent, and then totally dislike towards the end. So
Yeah, I'm not really big. I will occasionally tune into Stephen King books. I'm not a true blue fan of Stephen King. Make that of it what you will. It's just not my normal thing. I'm more likely to. I've read more Dean Koontz books than I have Stephen King by a long shot. So judge me with your uber horror novel nerdness as you will. Not saying that Dean Koontz or Stephen King is better than the other. Obviously, Stephen King's better for the vast majority of things. But I've definitely enjoyed his properties when they make it to the big screen, like Christine, and other ones that were kind of flops, but were more sci-fi based.
yeah.
They were really good. They stood on their own. So I don't know. That might be one that I might get into eventually. I've never heard of this one. China. I have no idea what it is, and I kind of like that. Sometimes, once in a while, if you go in completely blind, your socks are knocked off occasionally. The fifth season, The Broken Earth. Never heard of it.
And
So
sometimes the series puts your socks back on. So there's
yes,
that.
and your shoes, and you get the hell out of the door as quick as you can and get away from it.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
Wrinkle in Time, that's not my bag. But cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that what definitely is better than what certain other things. Oh no, never mind. It's different franchise. Nobody cares about that one. Sorry. Apologies to you if you do. Dragonflight, never heard of it. Northern Lights. Okay, cool.
His Dark Materials. I've read that series. It's
Okay, cool.
I enjoy it. That's the Golden Compass. People may know it better by that name. That's the first book in the series.
Okay.
It's his trilogy, and then he's writing a second trilogy right now. That's a sequel to this. Well, it's a prequel and a sequel. This series came out, and then a few years ago he started a new series, and the first book's a prequel, and then the second book is a sequel to the series, and then the third book will be a sequel to that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the new run of it, and can't wait for the third book to come out.
Very cool. Strong recommend for sure from Tom. Um,
Hmm.
Shadow of the Torturer, the Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. I've not read this, but this is more than one time that I've heard of this series, of this book, this franchise, where I probably will dip into it at some point. Probably later this winter. We'll see. Cinder by Marissa Mayer. Not familiar. Um, Heir to the Empire, a classic. You will never go wrong with this, in my opinion. Um, had Disney followed the original Zahn trilogy instead of the sequel trilogy, we would be in far different worlds. But you know what? Speculation is
It's
fiction,
yeah, yeah.
and I can say well whatever I want, and it doesn't mean
Yep.
anything. But
Now it's under Legends, so that's not strictly canon anymore.
nope,
Um,
used to be
and
canon, not anymore. Nope.
although the catchphrase now is, well, it's canon
I,
until it's not canon.
right.
I'm like, okay, sure, what? All right, yeah.
Well,
I
the, the,
when you start getting into canon and not canon, that's you kind of lose me. I was like, okay, whatever.
well,
It sounds like you're not really committed to the story at this point.
yeah, well, and then there's the other head canon, and I'll just go off and say this: like the Star Wars can do whatever the hell it wants after 2015. I don't care. After 2015, I really don't care because by that point in time, I had already soaked up quite a bit of the expanded universe that will always be canon to me, which it means exactly nothing because I am a fan and you like what you like, you know. The point
Hmm.
is that I guess if you're trying to put a positive roll on this, is that roll the coin, is that you are entertained maybe at some level. But you know what? You're never going to be disappointed if you go back into the expanded universe. Star Wars was known as that. Now it's known as
Hmm.
Thomas indicated, Legends.
Hmm.
Whatever. But you know
Yeah.
what? I will say this though. I will, and I'm not going to rant too much, but I will say this. When they re-released this under the Legends title, Legends series, this sold more books. This sold more books than anything the New Republic book series did that Disney has come out with over the last decade or so. The High Republic book series, nothing. No, the numbers are not even close to a re-release of this book, and that's a fact, Jack. So you take what you will from that, but they're not headed in the right direction. Is my point. And but that's kind of whipping at it too hard. This one I'm not as familiar with, but I saw Batman and a star and new creator, all buzzwords that I see. Um, this is cool. Basically, apparently, superstar Batman artist Jock announces gone. New creator own a series. Cool. Maybe basically it's about a stowaway teenager on a luxury starship. As the broad brushstrokes. Maybe it's good. I like the artwork here. Or the covers anyway. I think they look compelling. Whether it's
uh,
worth it or not, I don't know. Who knows? But
yeah.
well, not that,
I
not this, but the covers were looking pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, Jock, he wrote and drew the Batman comic One Dark Knight. If you're looking for like a standalone Batman story, that's cool. It's the I forget the name of the villain, but he's being transported from Arkham Asylum to Blackgate Penitentiary,
Okay.
and the power gets knocked out all over Gotham, and so Batman has to transport this guy by himself to
Oh,
Blackgate,
that's cool.
and all the various gangs of Gotham are wanting to kill the guy, and kill Batman too. So it's a really cool idea. It's almost I would love to see that comic book as a movie, because it has the movie vibes to it. You know, just the high stakes of Batman trying to get him to the penitentiary, and everybody's out to get him. It gives me sort of like um, the John Carpenter movie Escape from New York kind of vibes, that whole kind of anarchy in the streets because all the power's out and whatnot. And you got the riots and everything. It's just kind of a really cool idea. So that sounds like a cool idea, Batman story. And you like Batman, definitely check that out. It's out in graphic novel. It's called One Dark Night with a K.
That's cool. Yeah, always looking for pickups for there. I think that brings us to the end of the line. I didn't have anything else to add. I think we covered it, and we are at good lord, we are at we are at full feature length. We're at 90 minutes or so, which is a great thing. Um, and obviously, we will continue to evolve as this thing goes on,
Hmm.
despite my stupid stand-up desk. But keep in mind, I've been sitting at this damn thing for all
Yeah.
day anyway.
Yeah.
On top of it. But I think that brings us up. Any shout outs or things? I know that we have a special friend of the show that we were talking about earlier, um, last show, yesterday.
Hmm.
You want to mention him and
Yeah.
his endeavor?
Yeah, Scott Dyson. We've each got a copy of his 14 Dark Windows. It's a
Yep.
little novella of short stories that he's published. This is I think his first ebook and his first published in paperback. So he's got some other stuff all available on his website, scottdyson.com. I think it links over to Amazon, or you can go directly to Amazon and order those. I'm sure it's sort of a he tends towards more to horror, but I believe in this short story collection there's a little bit of horror and various other things too. I've also been reading, and shout out to Scott, he's a
Yep.
great guy. But yeah, I've also been reading some graphic novels called Reckless. They're if you like those kind of pulp novels, those series of pulp novels. This is very reminiscent of it. They're set during the 70s and 80s, and it's this sort of this private eye. But he's less of a private eye as opposed to, if you have a problem, he has his phone number out there. If there's something that you can't go to the police about, you can call him up, and he can go in and fix the problem. And the guy's name is Ethan Reckless, and the series called Reckless. It's kind of got that pulpy kind of Quentin Tarantino vibe to it. The main character, looks like a young Robert Redford. But it's got that really good kind of pulpy vibe to it. So if you're kind of interested in that, I was kind of reading the backstory on it. It's by Ed Brubaker and
Oh, really?
Sean Phillips. And they were they would get together and do a series of comic books. First there would be floppies, and then they would collect them as a graphic novel at the end of the year. And then COVID happened. Dun dun dun. And so, and if you remember back then, they shut down all the comic book shops for a good while there, and weren't sending out comic books for several months, which killed several comic book shops. They never reopened. Luckily, my local one stayed in business, much due to the fact that we would go out and go to them and actually get them to order some graphic novels for us to kind of keep them afloat during those times. But Ed Brubaker is like, okay, well, we can't publish a comic book. Let's just write a long form graphic novel and just put it out as a graphic novel. Skip the floppies, and that's what they do with this series. So every few months or to a year, they publish a new graphic novel, hardcover graphic novel, and it's about 150 pages a piece. And yeah, so they're a complete story, and they don't have to worry about getting each chapter be the roughly the 20 pages that a floppy is, but they could just tell it like a novel, and the chapters could be however long they need to be. So it frees them up to do a little bit more with it. But yeah, if you're kind of looking for a comic book and you're not really into superheroes, but you like kind of pulpy kind of stories of a private eye kind of getting caught up in with a damsel in distress or femme fatale that has a little bit more secrets to her than she's letting on, then this series may be for you.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. And we are about ready to go into fun time here.
All
Uh,
right.
uh, 1 second here while I get adjusted. As I
Yeah.
am getting this thing ready to go. And while that, I'll let Tom get set here to do our skit. As
Oh
we are,
yeah, we got our skit. Yeah, I almost
yeah,
forgot all about
yeah.
that.
No, I am not going to go out without doing that skit. And that skit is very near and dear to me because why not? We are exercising
Yeah.
new skills.
All right.
You are literally seeing the next comedians of the world, or something of the world, but
Yeah.
before your
So.
eyes. So take that, stick in the muds.
Yep. So let's get this set. Now the settings: a dimly lit room
Yep.
filled with ancient furniture, cobwebs, and a gaming consoles. Two vampires, Ned and Victor, are attempting to play a video game. They're dressed in their usual extravagant vampire attire, but with gaming headsets
Now,
on.
I gotta tell
Um,
you, I gotta ask you this just for character scene because I gotta know here because I gotta get the mind right. Who's older? Or what is the age of this of the first character Ned, and what is the age of the second character Victor to complete the scene here?
I don't know.
I
I,
put you
I
on the
haven't
spot there.
haven't really read through the thing, but yeah. Which character do you want to be, Ned or Victor?
I'll go ahead and be Ned because I feel like you're gonna be a better Victor for some
Okay,
reason.
all right. And see.
All right. Uh, God damn it, Victor, you imbecile! You just shot me again. We're on the same goddamn team.
But I thought the point of the games was to suck the life out of the others. Isn't that what we do?
No, you fool. This is a video game. We're supposed to work together to defeat the enemy, not snipe each other.
But aren't we enemies of everyone?
Yes, in the real world, but in the game, we have allies. Now follow me and try not to shoot me this time. Grr.
Very well. But how do I move? These buttons are so confusing.
Oh, just use the joystick, just like this. You gotta put it in the right grip.
Uh, this is most unnatural. Can't we just turn into bats and fly there?
It's a game, Victor. We can't turn into bats here.
Oh, look, Ned, I found a button that makes me dance.
That's not helpful. That's not helpful. Victor, we're in the middle of a battle. I need you. I need you on my six.
But it's so much fun. Look at me go.
Fine, dance if you must. I'll win this battle myself, like always.
Wait, Ned, I think I see a human player. Shall we feast on him?
No, Victor, you can't feast on pixels. We shoot him with bullets, not bite him with fangs.
Oh, that's less satisfying.
Just shoot him. Just shoot him, Victor.
Oops.
Victor!
My apologies, Ned. This is all very new to me.
I know, my friend. Perhaps we should stick to what we know best.
Yes, let's go feast on some real humans.
Much more satisfying.
Fade to black as they leave the room, leaving the game still running.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
not bad, not
Yeah,
bad.
no, that was really good. That was really good. I liked it. Well, of course, we
Yeah.
both have. Well, the you bit me like a you turned me into a vampire with this damn what we do in the shadows TV show, which is another recommendation. Go watch it. It's great.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Like after I work a long day and I'm done with work and I just want to zone out, if I just put it on, I love it. It's just like it used to
Yeah.
be back on, back in the day, like where you just show up and just watch the show and you just be entertained.
Yeah,
It's
I
golden.
I need to find a show to revisit to kind of maybe watch a episode or two before going to bed. I got in the habit of just watching YouTube, but there's only just so much you can watch on YouTube, and sometimes that gets you aggravated and kind of it's like and maybe do the adverse of putting you
Oh,
to sleep.
oh, Tom.
But yeah.
Oh, Tom. Oh, let me just wait. I'll hook you up with some World War II or history or geology lectures, and I promise you,
No,
you
there's
will fall asleep.
I a lot of times I just need white noise.
I
So
do too. Yeah.
there's actually some good channels on YouTube.
Oh,
There's
that's great.
ocean noises, and I I there's channels where they go into Skyrim and just walk
Mm.
across all of Skyrim while the music's playing.
Yep.
And so you have the little music, and yeah. So if you like the music of Skyrim, there's plenty of channels where you can fall asleep to the music as they wander the the world of Skyrim.
Oh yeah, no, that's very true. There is the YouTube is an amazing thing, and
Hmm.
it kind of goes back to the strike. You and I can't believe we haven't talked about this, but for another show we'll expand upon it maybe. But the fact that you our age, our generation, uh, um, have gravitated. We've learned to go to YouTube and cultivate our own personal, highly
Hmm.
personalized feed. That is really funny. Like when you mix them up, like Thomas and I at some point are going to meet in the future, face to face, and do a little our little conference thing, probably next year when things settle
Hmm.
down. We got some plans on that, and we might be able to do a fan meetup if we if we reach enough folks out there. That'd be great.
Hmm.
But regardless, I know I'll have fun with you, Tom, and you with me.
Hmm.
But like that's just the kind of the shift in content is not just generational from father to son, mother to daughter, but also to us crusty old guys and how we consume media. But anyway, with all that all said, I wanted to, before we end the show, I wanted to bring us back to the whole point of why we do this. We love the content. I will always die on the hill that we are a really cool, awesome recommendation engine, or just give it a try. Try it, you might
Hmm.
like it. And that's just so far ranging for nerds, men, women out there. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. We all like what we like. That's all precious. And, this kind of goes back to what we kind of circled around before, but like if you like what you like, don't worry about what anybody else says about it, and don't even worry about it. And matter of fact, just turn off social media and like what you like. And at some point, you and your friends, your nerds, your nerddom, your nerdy dose, will
Hmm.
maybe make a show about it, and maybe we'll watch it, and maybe we'll talk about it next. But
Yep. Yeah, and
so
it's been great because our shows have either caught on fire
yep,
or not, and are
relative to our
not. Yeah.
size, right?
Yeah, exactly. And but what I've enjoyed in the past few things that we've put out, we've got kind of a baseline of
Hmm.
an audience, because sometimes we would throw something out there and get like 6 views on it or below. And now we get a kind of a good range of, in the double digits. We get roughly around 30 at the least. So that kind of tells me that we've got some people that kind of check back to see what we're doing each week. So that's cool. If you're out there and you're one of those, hey, thanks a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've been Mike. And like what you like, let art be art. And you know what? I think a good sign off is like go create your own content. Go
Mhm.
start on it because a year from now, 2 years from now, you might just be somewhere at, and regardless of whether you actually make fame or money, which you probably
Mhm.
won't. But you know what? The memories that you make, it really is about the journey. It really is. Just like most things in life that are worthwhile. But I've been Mike.
I'm Thomas, and we'll let AI Millie play us out.
Tom, no, put the gun down. I'm just kidding.
What are you still doing here? Get lost and play with your joystick. This has been a The1st-TheLast-TheNerdom production.